Marina, I've done it. I was just proposed to by my boyfriend. Really? You really have gone and done it then, Kiara. And you told him that you'd love to marry him, right? Well, of course I did. Mac is making bank right now as a doctor after all. Him proposing me after being together for so long is not something I could ever say no to. Well, congratulations then, Kiara. As your older sister, I'm very happy for you. Seeing someone who used to be so small getting married soon really does make me emotional. I'm almost at the point of crying now from thinking about so much. It's too early to be crying about this. He only just proposed to me and we still haven't gotten around to handing in any of the marriage documents yet. I guess that's true. So, if you guys are engaged now, that means what comes next is everyone talking about the wedding, right? You can bring him over anytime to talk about with me. Well, about that, actually. I actually happen to have some pretty important stuff to talk to you about. Oh, what kind of stuff is that then? When it's been confirmed that him and I are married, can we cut ties to one another? I don't really want you around me anymore after that. What was that? No plans of showing Mac to you either, actually. Well, I've actually planned all of this out now and haven't even told him a thing about you yet. Which is kind of why I can't have you coming out of thin air now to meet him. Wait a second. Not only do you want to cut ties to me, but you also haven't told him anything about me existing yet either? Why? Our parents passed away a long time ago, and since then it's just been you and I being the only two members of the family left, right? That's a good point. To me, you're like my third parent, right? In place of mom and dad, you've always been there this whole time raising and supporting me. And you were so close to graduating from high school, but you dropped out anyway to start making all that money to support me. You were 18 years old at the time, and already having to taste the world for what it is. For my sake, you threw your own life away. I had to do what was necessary for my very important sister. I feel that I did a good job raising you, and I have no regrets about what I've done. You always love being such a hypocrite. After all the trouble you've caused me, you sit there not regretting 1 second of it. Your sly attitude really does make me chuckle a bit. What? Did you really think that this whole time I've been thankful for what you've done for me? I'm sorry, but I feel the exact opposite, actually. You ended up leaving school with no education at all and had to start working as a whore. You have been a complete embarrassment to me this whole time, and that's what made me hate you. Is that right? This whole time I've been dating Mac, I felt nothing but worry. I was thinking that if he found out my older sister who worked as a whore existed, he'd throw me away. I was worried that because of you, I'd never had a chance at marrying a super rich man. Literally, this whole time I've been on edge thinking about all of that. And that is why, after I'm wed, you and I are done. Once I am married to a doctor, you being part of my past is a complete pain for me that will weigh me down. You really don't need to talk about me like that. I have been taking my life very seriously and have done everything I could working for our sakes. Also that I could raise and support you. Yet you calling me an embarrassment now? All so that you could raise and support me? What is this all about? I never once asked you to do anything for me after mom and dad passed away. What? You choosing to raise me and sell your body like that were both choices you decided to make. So stop acting like I have to repay you for any of those shallow and unwanted favors. I literally don't have any appreciation towards you and all that you've done. I'm not asking you to thank me for any of it, but hearing that you really don't appreciate a single thing of what I've done does shock me a little. I get having a bias against working in a red light district, and I really feel bad for having to do that to get by. But Kiara, do you really want to cut ties to me after you're married? I have no problem at all with saying goodbye to you forever, and the only option I see is cutting you out of my life. I feel that there is a high chance that both my man and his parents are against selling one's body like that to the public. And when it comes to the world at night, there's all kinds of trouble going on. I don't even want to think about what would happen if that trouble were to catch up to you, and you got all of us wrapped up in it. That is why I'm cutting ties to you, is both the cleanest way of doing this and the easiest. But this year is my last year of doing things like that. I have a lot of money saved up now, and I'm planning to open up a business of my own. I know what I'll be able to do to make this place a hit, so wouldn't me being a business owner be alright with you? You said you'd open a pub or something, but you're going to be opening it in a red light district, right? That means you'll be working in the exact same place serving the exact same dirty men. And I'm guessing the only way you're going to get any customers is by working behind a counter with your top off, right? Well, I guess in terms of the location I've chosen, a lot of customers will be men. Then that really means the only choice I have is to cut ties to you. The person you are as a whole is embarrassing to me, so I have to. And if my doctor of a fiancé was to find out that you are a whore, everything would be over for me. Okay then. Goodbye forever. And don't you ever act like a member of my family again. I'm going to delete your contact as well, okay?
Excuse me, Marina. I'm sorry for trying to talk with you on your day off, but could you please hurry and come to the pub right now? The police are here, and it's become a huge mess.
Did you say the police are there? What the heck has been going on over there that the police had to come and get involved in?
There's this customer in the place that started to go crazy, and they started to cause so much trouble that the police had to come and get involved. Because of them, a lot of the windows in the pub are shattered.
So they've gone and completely torn up my pub is what you're saying.
I'm so sorry. I take full blame for this one. I was the one that made that customer upset, so please make me responsible for all of this after we get it cleaned up.
Do you mean you were the one that made them upset? I just climbed into a taxi and I'm coming over there now, but I need you to start explaining all of what's happened to me right now.
The customer came in with a girl from another place close by to here. I'm pretty sure they just finished having sex and all. That man looked pretty off to me as well as the girl. And, well, that girl started to ask me in a very rude manner about some private information, like for people's contact information and such. She also started to invite me out to go have fun with her. And, well, things started to then really hot between those two once the man came up to the counter, and they started fighting. I then went and tried to break things up, or at least get them to leave the store.
And that's what got them upset with you?
Correct. The man was very drunk coming in, and couldn't seem to stand up straight on his own. And not only did he start to get physical with me, but he was getting physical with the girl as well. I tried to push him out the doors with the girl, but he took another swing at me, missing my head and smashing the door. And then he just became even more angry and started destroying all the windows.
I see. I guess that was enough to where the police had to get involved.
I am so very sorry about this. I should have tried something less aggressive in order to make them leave. And now I'm having to ask you to come in on your weekend off. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it, Alex. This is my job as the owner, and I don't mind it at all. And to me, I think you handled everything the best you could with those two. Had you just let those two continue fighting like they were, then they would have only been more trouble down the line for them and the rest of the pub. I think you did a very good thing today by trying to break things up.
Marina!
Also, I've recently had a lot going in my personal life, so it's kind of nice to be called into work during the weekend to get away from things at home. Now, it shouldn't be more than 10 more minutes until I arrive, so just go settle down and wait for me. Marina! Let me borrow some of your money right now. You told me that your pub was going to be doing great, which means you have to have some money right now, right? You should be able to lend me a couple thousand right now, right? A couple thousand? What is going on with you right now? Didn't you end up deleting my contact info after you told me that we were cutting ties to one another? Right now is not the time for that. Right now my fiancé Matt, he's in real need of some money to pay off and out for some court settlement. He got into a lot of trouble with the police as well, and things have been really rough for him. What did he end up doing that to get the police involved? I assume that him being a doctor meant he would never do anything to jeopardize his career, right? He didn't do anything wrong, though. This is all that whore's fault. What? This is literally the worst thing that could have happened. I had finally cut ties to a whore like yourself for good. Yet, having to speak to you again now over something as terrible as this is making me want to cry. What the hell happened? Can you give me a bit of a better explanation for what happened than that? Mac, alright, he went to a nightclub with some people as part of his job. And, well, there was this one whore that kept coming up to him over and over again for his contact info and asking him to go out for a night of fun with him. She heard about him being a doctor and was trying to turn him into an ADM, I'm sure. Her asking him to go out with her for the night is a part of the nightlife. Her job is to sell her body to men on streets and in clubs, so it makes sense to me. But when he left that club with the others, she continued to follow him, asking over and over again. And he said that she took him away from the rest of the group he was from work, and they had to go sit inside of this pub. He then told me that he got upset with her and that he had a bad fall that ended up breaking some windows in the glass doors there. Yet, instead of being helped up, the bartender went over telling both of him and the whore to get out before making things even a bigger deal. And then the police were called on him and everything went downhill. And then that whore told him that he had to pay her a settlement for what he'd done. What? Seriously, all those whores and strippers are the worst. For being such a brain-dead idiot, they are really stubborn when it comes to asking for money. And that one could tell Mac was a doctor and latched onto him without ever wanting to let go. She was the one that wouldn't leave him alone, and now he's being blamed for what she caused? You're kidding me. That customer was your fiancé of all people? What? That customer? Do you know something about what happened? The pub that your fiancé went and wrecked just so happened to be my pub. Are you kidding me? So then you should have the evidence we need to prove he's innocent, right? Go and have a look at your pub security cameras for me. I need you to go to the police and show them what he was doing was nothing wrong. There are a few cameras around the pub, but that's a bit. Huh? What kind of reaction is that? Are you going to tell me you're not helping me out here? Your little sister's fiancé was just framed as the bad guy and is now going to have to settle out of court over it. So you're not helping me because I cut ties with you? Why are you such a narrow-minded woman? That's not my reasoning for not helping out. I have no choice then, do I? I have to do this for the sake of helping my man. I'm going to be nice this time and take back what I said about wanting to cut ties to you, Marina. What? Are you sure? But I won't be inviting you to my wedding, and I won't ever let you come around my fiancé or his family. I can't tell him that I've actually had an older sister this whole time. But I'll be fine with secretly going out to see you in person every so often. In other words, you'll finally be able to come out and see your sister who had cut ties to you before again. That should be enough to make you happy, right? Just like you were saying before, I really am an embarrassment to you. Huh? Why are you stating the obvious right now? Just shut up and hurry up with those videotapes. I need you to help me prove my fiancé's innocence by bringing them to the police. The only evidence I have is of him being the guilty party in said chaos. What? I can show you what was all recorded inside my pub. But the only footage that was ever taken of them was of your fiancé coming into the store with the poor girl and hitting her while also breaking all my windows. Seems he was done having sex with her and came there looking for some more to drink. But that girl he was with was still in the mindset of doing her job and went up one of my employees asking him to go out with her sometime. And that started to really piss him off. So when my bartender went over to give him a warning about how loud the both of them were being, he blew up. If that's the kind of evidence you're wanting to see of your man, I can show you at the police it any time. What are you going on about? That is completely different from what my fiancé told me. I'm just telling you what I'd seen on the security cameras in my pub. He might have just been telling you a lie to make himself look like the victim, but what I saw was him being anything but that. And after I had a talk with one of the few business owners in the area after that mess, they told me about how famous of a man he is. They call him Dr. Dirty, as he not only gets himself blackout drunk all the time, but he loves to make love to all kinds of whores out on the streets. You're wrong! You're completely wrong. My fiancé would never be doing any of those things. Mac is the type who hates all of those things, like whores and drinking. All that happened to him being taken advantage of and being framed, and by that freaking whore. Let me ask you something. Why would a doctor be going to a nightclub as part of his job? It's not like he has any customers he's supposed to be entertaining, right? He's not the owner of a hospital or a clinic, so he's not going out to do business either. As far, he's too young for that. So don't tell me that you actually believe that your fiancé, who's a doctor, is going out at night to do business. Then, if he really did go out all by himself to be at that club and with a whore, there's no way he was having sex with her or getting blackout drunk. He's engaged to me right now, and something like that would be unfaithful of him. If anything, that whore was the one that forced him to get so drunk that he couldn't even understand what was right and wrong and forced herself back onto him. That has to be it. That's why she's the criminal here. From what everyone was telling me, your fiancé had been drinking way too much and was blowing numbers the police had never been seen before. If you'd like, I can go and have a word with the owner of the club he was at that night. After all, it's the same club I had been working up until recently. What? And thankfully, that woman he was with, the whore, also happens to be a friend of mine I made while working there. Actually, she's one of the girls I trained back in the day. And I was only the one that taught her the rights and wrongs of the job, and that she could never force herself onto anyone. So there is no way she was the one that forced him to drink all of that alcohol before taking him out to have sex. What? You know people like that as well? I work for that place after all, so of course I'm going to know her. She's like a friend of mine now. And to me, she was the cutest girl I've ever seen in my life back when I had to train her and everything. She was way cuter than my own little sister, and that's why to this day, her and I are like family. Actually, she's like you, without the really crappy attitude. What? Now, having to hear that a total drunk like your fiancé may have forced himself onto her, as well as hit her afterwards at my pub? Kiara, your fiancé is a total piece of crap if I'm to be honest. The kind of man that doesn't know how to handle his alcohol, and is willing to cheat on his own fiancé with whores at a nightclub. You're wrong! Mac is not that kind of person. He was way too nice, and is a very successful doctor. And both of his parents are very serious people, making them a very powerful family. He told me he hates women like that, who are only out looking for sex. There's no way a man like him could be out going to those places at night. Then, would you like to have a talk with my friend from the club about that? She can tell you what kind of man your fiancé really is. What? I just got another couple of texts from her a second ago. And just like she was saying before, he really is a terrible man. He always seems to be getting himself drunk off the cheapest drinks, and will then go around flirting with all kinds of women. No way. But the fact that he's a doctor does allow him to pay those kinds of that he plays around with handsomely. My friend told me that at times he'll order her a $2,000 of champagne, and when he's feeling a bit too lucky, $2,000 bottle of champagne? He's spending that kind of money on alcohol for other women besides me? And it sounds like he's going out to those places at least 2 to 3 times a week. So he has to be spending close to $5,000 a week then. And last month, it was my friend's birthday. And at her party, he came and spent close to $10,000 on all the women there. 10,000? You're lying, right? He's spending that kind of money on a whore like here? From everything she's told me about him so far, he seems to really like her. After all that time spending such money on her, he'd finally had enough of her just being a whore at that nightclub and wanted to make her something more to him. And that's why he chased her all the way over to my pub and became jealous when she started to talk with other men. But she wasn't going to work with him anymore when he began acting out like that and had to say no to all of his advances. That then led him to throwing a huge fit over it, which led to the inside of my store becoming one massive mess. What the hell? That is all the complete opposite of what Mac has been telling me. What's really the truth here? I should be able to believe him, right? I don't care who you can trust. Go ahead and keep on believing what he has to say. What? And of course, I'm going to believe who I want to in this mess. And since I have clear as day evidence proving that your fiancé came and ruined my store while also hurting my friend, I'm also going to take action against him now. In other words, I'm going to make sure he's punished for his actions. What do you mean by that? No way. Are you really going to ask that he pay you out of court as well too? Considering I don't have any parents around and my only piece of family I had left abandoned me and left me by myself, the pub where I put all my money into is the last thing I have. And that friend of mine who I once worked with is like family to me. In order to protect both of them, I have to do what I must. I'm not holding back, so you go and tell your fiancé to prepare himself for what comes next.
Marina! I just got a message from that problem customer that came in a couple of days ago. He said he'll pay the out-of-court settlement as long as we don't take any further actions against him. And it sounds like he's willing to pay us close to $30,000 for the damages.
Well, that's a lot more than I was asking him before.
I'm sure he wants to sweep all of this under the rug as soon as possible. Paying $30,000 for some damages to the store like broken windows and a broken door is quite a lot.
In recent times, doctors had to rely on their image more than their skills when it comes to their career. And I'm sure he doesn't want to be known by everyone for being a reckless man that goes out at night to sleep with whores and wreck businesses.
So, what are you going to do? Are you going to stop taking any further action against him?
Well, if he's going to be paying that much, I suppose I can stop. Having to carry this out more than this is a pain in the behind for me as well. So please, tell him we'll be taking the money and we won't be doing anything else. And when this is all said and done, expect to get a bonus from a part of that money.
Hell yeah! Thank you so freaking much, Marina. I'm going to get back to him right now about what you've agreed to.
You're so mean, Marina! Stealing $30,000 from my fiancé like that? Who the hell ever said I stole that from him? He was the one saying that he wanted to pay us that much for the damages, so I didn't do anything mean. But couldn't you have said no to his offer? You already know that he's my fiancé after all. You could have told him that him offering that much was more than enough and turned the money down. Yet instead, you just went and took that $30,000 from him. If he's really learned his lesson, then that $30,000 proves it. If he really felt bad for what he'd done, he should be giving me a lot more money for the troubles he'd caused. That's the kind of world us business people live in, Kiara. But because of that, I'm no longer going to have a wedding with him. Are you saying that you're fine with your cute little sister not being able to wear a wedding dress as she gets married? What? Mac told me that he no longer wants to have a wedding. Having all lost that money, he's no longer in the mood to celebrate us. So, he said that going to the courthouse and handing in the papers is more than enough for him. Well, 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 that must mean he lost all of his savings after paying up. And what's even worse is recently he's been so cold to me. Ever since the police had gotten involved, he's been taking out all his frustrations out on me. The kind of Mac I knew is gone now. He's been drinking a ton more at home now, and he'll go on these drunk rampages hurting me. In other words, what's going on here is that he's showing you the true him before you guys have ever had to tie the knot. As a couple, you both have to be completely honest with one another, and him showing you the real Mac is a part of it. I never wanted to see him like this, though. Also today, after he'd gotten out of work, he went straight back to the red light district. I made him a really good dinner and all today waiting for him to come home as well. But he just texted me not too long ago that saying he was going to find some girls to relieve some stress with, so he doesn't need any dinner tonight. What? After all that happened, he's still going out and trouble everyone? He really is a pile of crap then. I don't want to be engaged to him anymore. I can't be married to a man like him. I want to go back to living with you again. Stop acting like that's ever going to happen. Wasn't it you that abandoned me not too long ago? You and I are no longer sisters nor family now. You are a complete random stranger now, so don't come crying to me. No way. Your only sister is crying her eyes out right now begging for help. Yet you're going to throw me away now? You don't regret wanting to do that to me? Not one bit. I have never, ever regretted any of the choices I've made up until now, and I'm not going to start regretting any of them today. What? The same thing applies to when you told me you wanted me out of your life. And I wanted to do that as you wanted, and leave you behind like you were never part of my life. Which is why I don't regret this one bit. And no matter what you try to say to me, I'm not going to go back to being part of your family ever again. No way. Now you have a good one, all right. Let's both do our best to live lives we won't ever have to regret. After that, Kiara never went and left her fiancé, and soon after he went and handed in their marriage papers to the courthouse. From there, they never had a wedding and never went on a honeymoon. As Mac told her, they needed to save all that money back up, and so they were forced to move in back with his parents. But that never stopped him from continuing to go out all of those nightclubs and pubs, while both of his parents told Kiara that as his wife, she had to continue supporting him as she had no other choice. And then proceeded to tell her that the next time he got into any of trouble, it would be her fault, and her mess to clean up for him. Sounds like recently those two get into fights all the time, whether that be at home or at Mac's hospital. And that led to their images slowly going sour in the rest of the community's eyes, as more and more people lose respect for them and walk away.